Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live. Haven't done a live feed for a couple weeks now. And today I wanted to do first off, welcome to Fat Cat Collections. If you're catching this video on a rerun, which is where most of the views come from, hopefully I get some of my usual suspects in here today, or some folks who are in the market for a leather jacket, are shopping, not really sure what to buy. And I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents on my thoughts on leather jackets. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my resume here. I have about 40 jackets in the collection. And one thing I found about YouTube is that there are so many wannabe experts and folks who are really just pumping out videos for their own agenda. Now, don't get me wrong, YouTube is a business, of course, absolutely, for myself included. But what's up, Kyle? What's up, man? And while I'm doing this, you guys, I'm going to kind of jump back and forth, respond to some of the chat here. But I would like you guys just to kind of stick with the topic of today's video today. And again, that's about leather jacket quality. And of course, I'm going to be doing a rebuttal to Alpha M and a video he put up, a lot of fake news about how to properly wear a leather jacket. And it says here, top 6 leather wearing do's and don'ts. So this is kind of my rebuttal video. So I did this video already, and it's going to be kind of long-winded. And I just didn't upload it and edit it. What I want to do is just kind of put this together in a live feed. And if whoever wants to jump in and watch the video live, great. Otherwise, it'll be available on the rerun, and I'll keyword it and stuff like that. So I'm going to be playing his video and be discussing some of the nonsense that he says. Remember, one real important thing, if you found this video based on some of the keywords, based on styling or style advice, there's lots of guys on YouTube that built a solid career giving men's fashion and men's style advice. And I think that there is a proper place for channels like this. I think they are helpful. And I think that anything that you can watch and learn about to give you a little bit of motivation, I think all of us can kind of relate that over our lifetime, we're going to have our styles kind of change a little bit. And our styles are going to kind of, I'm not going to say adapt, because adapting kind of like insinuates that like it grows, but I think just style changes. And so today, if you do join the chat, I know a lot of times people are working and stuff like that, so sometimes it's really hit or miss on how many people we get in here. If you do have questions along the way, I'll try to answer those. But as for right now, I'm just going to do this video as if I'm just filming a regular video. And if we get anybody in here, then great. So, all right. So the topic of the video is how to properly wear a leather jacket. And so I'm just going to start this off, and you guys will hear it in the video. And again, critique what he's saying, critique what I'm saying if you have any kind of, like I said, any kind of guidance or whatnot. But again, with the amount of jackets that I have, the brands that I have, the years that I've been buying leather jackets, I can tell you that there's a lot of really great products out there. So let's begin. So here we go.
So I'm super excited about today's video because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite style obsessions and men's must-haves, the leather jacket. All right. And the reason is because A, I love leather jackets, and B, I feel like it is the most badass jacket and wardrobe item a man can own. But there's a
all right, so I definitely agree with that assessment. You guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, and if you haven't and you're interested in leather jackets, I have a playlist full of a lot of leather jackets. I have my collection in the reviews, so check that out if you are in the market. But I agree. I think a leather jacket is a great item for your wardrobe. Do I only own leather jackets? I own all different kinds of coats. I think I have probably about 60 different jackets. But, I think that a leather jacket is definitely one every man should have in his wardrobe. Again, that is subjective. It really depends on the person and their style. But ultimately, always, like I always say, buy what makes you happy. But unfortunately, there's a lot of YouTubers out there giving style advice when really it's just really their opinions. And a lot of people are very, as we know, very easily influenced. And I want to give you guys just kind of have a different approach on how you view your own style, right? All right, so let's continue on here.
The razor thin line between looking like a badass and a dumbass. And so today we're gonna
Alpha M likes to use the word dumb. He likes to throw that dumbass a lot. And what he's doing is he's planting seeds. Alpha M is a salesman. I mean, he really is. And part of sales is that you plant seeds along the way with your consumer, your customer, and then you come back and harvest those seeds. So a potential planting of seeds might be if somebody's buying, for example, let's say a stereo system, and you start bringing up, hey, this is a really great stereo. It's going to definitely make your sound system sound better. But there's a few other things you can do. I'll tell you about that later on. A couple things you want to do to avoid distortion. This is one of. I'll tell you about the others later on. And what you've done is planted the seed where the customer's like, well, what is he talking about? What other things? And he's planted the seed of interest, and then he's going to come back and harvest that seed later on to maybe upsell you into adding, some speakers to that stereo system that you're looking to buy, when maybe you weren't really planning on getting that in the first place. He might say something like, oh, well, a lot of times distortion comes from a lack of power. Now, these are all things that could be true and potentially might not be true, right? You're planting the seed for maybe an amplifier add-on. This can be done with really anything. It could be selling somebody a living room set, really anything that you want to possibly upsell somebody on or get them to buy. You're going to plant the seed. In this case, he's planting a seed of fear that you don't want to look like a dumbass. So stay tuned. You got to listen to his advice. You don't want to look like a dumbass. So he's going to come back and harvest that. So let's continue on.
Go over some leather jacket wearing rules that every man should follow. But it gets even better, because at the end of the video, if you stick around to then, you're going to actually see some of my favorite badass leather jacket outfit combinations to make you look like a sex machine. Hey guys, so real quick,
okay, not everybody wants to look like a sex machine, you know what I mean? But if that is your game plan, I think that leather jackets do give you kind of a bad boy look. I definitely will agree that there is kind of a sexiness to it, but again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Before we get started, let me give you a little rundown of my incredible leather jacket collection. On this side, these two are collared front zip jackets. These are racer jackets, these four. These four are actually moto style, and then the rest are badass bombers. So the first...
He really likes that badass bombers.
First rule we got to talk about is price, because price is one of those things. When it comes to leather jackets, it is all over the board, and you need to know what you're looking for.
Okay, that is true. Leather prices is all over the board, or leather prices are all over the board. And that could really be said with anything. I mean, any consumer product, the price is all over the board. It doesn't matter what it is. So it's not really specific to leather jackets. That can be said for jeans. That can be said for t-shirts. That can be said for, of course, leather jackets, car audio equipment, watches. Absolutely, for you watch addicts like myself. So prices are all over the board with any consumer product.
All right. So basically, it breaks down like this: under $200. It's a fake leather jacket, and that is definitely not.
No, I gotta stop the video right there. That's a complete false statement. To make the statement, I'm surprised he would even make such a bold, incorrect, not even inaccurate. This is a complete incorrect statement. Jackets under $199 are not fake jackets. Now, I'm not saying there's not the potential that you might be buying a fake jacket, but generally, if you're buying from reputable retailers, they're going to tell you whether a jacket is real or fake. A perfect example of this is a jacket company that I've reviewed in the past. They were nice to send me 3 of their jackets. They make vegan jackets. There's lots of different names. We can call them vegan leather. We can call them pleather. We can call them fake. And ultimately, it's just not real leather. Those jacket prices are, at different price points. I don't remember what they are specifically to date. But, just to make the statement that a jacket under $199 is fake is completely not true. There are fake jackets for $199 and under that are fake or made of PU, which is polyurethane leather, but that's not a steadfast rule. There are many jackets you can get in the 70 to, and I don't even like to use price. I don't even use price when I'm talking about watches, but, there are jackets that I have in my collection that I paid $50 for, up to that $199 price point that Alpha M wants to make a point of, that are real leather. Are there different grades of leather? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, they're still leather and they still look and feel spectacular. So again, false statement. He's planting the seed that you have to spend more in order to get real leather, and this is completely false.
Not something I would recommend. And the reason is because A, it's not going to look like leather. It's not going to wear like leather. It's not going to last like leather. And it's not going to patina over time like an incredible leather jacket will.
Our leather does not patina. Patina is something that, in my opinion, metal tends to do. Jackets become weathered. And that's not to state that every jacket becomes weathered. I have jackets in my collection that are about 20 years old that have not developed any kind of wear whatsoever because they don't get worn a lot. If you have a jacket that you wear daily, nonstop, whatever you're doing, you are going to get more of a distressed look. Is what the proper terminology is distressed, and that's just basically wear. where some of the tanning might kind of come off. It might discolor. You might scrape it up a little bit. That's not really a patina. Again, I'm not saying he's completely 100% incorrect, but I don't believe patina is the right word in regards to a leather jacket wearing. As far as stating that a leather jacket under $199 is not going to look real, that's completely false. There are many jackets you can buy out there that are fake leather that look completely real. It just depends on whether the manufacturer wanted to have something with a high shine or a more of a matte finish. And generally, if you are getting a leather jacket that has more of a matte finish, I would say that's going to lean more towards looking realistic than something extremely shiny. What you're trying to avoid is just the shiny glad bag style jacket. However, if a company wants to make a high gloss leather jacket, I have several by Wilson Leathers that are extremely shiny. They're genuine leather, they're genuine cowhide or pigskin. Again, that's not a steadfast rule. This is a complete fabrication. And what he's doing here is just basically planting seeds for you to worry that, oh, I better buy the jacket he's going to pitch you shortly. So let's move on.
Will, one of the greatest things about leather jackets is, unlike a lot of other pieces of clothing that you own, they get better looking with time. The more you wear,
that's not exactly true. That is subjective. A jacket doesn't necessarily get better looking with time. It becomes weathered or worn. Now that might be if that's a subjective assessment. If somebody thinks that an old worn out leather jacket looks good, and lots of people do. I have one coming this Sunday that is extremely distressed. I wear a lot of jeans. Some are distressed, some are not. The whole idea is that just to state it looks better with time, some folks may not want a jacket that looks really old. It's a very weathered look, right? That may not be the look you're going for. So that's, again, what Alpha M likes to do is make statements that aren't always true. They are subjective, but he words them as if they are fact. And this is not a factual statement.
The more it breaks in, the more it forms to your body and looks incredible. Under $200.
Okay, leather doesn't really form to your body. Leather generally loosens up. Leather does stretch a little bit, absolutely. So if you buy a jacket that's extremely tight, the more you wear it, it's going to loosen up a little bit. But it's not going to conform to your body. Generally, if a jacket's going to wear, it's going to become looser, and that's not conforming to your body. So if you want things to conform to your body, leather is probably not the you might buy something pleather that has some sort of material in them that gives some elastic properties, right? We all see the ladies wearing the real skin tight kind of leggings that look like leather, but they're not. That's kind of a skin tight form fitting look. Generally, if you want more of a form fitting look, you have to downsize and get a jacket that's really going to adhere to your body more, okay? But it's still going to stretch regardless of whether or not you buy a jacket that's small, medium, large. Of course, if you're stuffing yourself into a jacket that's a little bit tighter, like I like to do, I generally wear my jackets small. I like them more fitted. Again, that's personal preference. There's no real steadfast rule on that.
Guys, don't waste your money. Invest a little bit more, save up, and buy a higher kind. The more you wear, the more it breaks in, the more it forms to your body and looks incredible. Under $200, guys, don't waste your money. Invest a
complete false. And again, he's planting another seed to try to convince people that, hey, you have to spend more money for a leather jacket to get real leather. Anything under that is going to be garbage. And I could rest assured, I can guarantee you, prices are all over the place. I have jackets that were about 400 that really should be close to like $2,000, and I have jackets that are $200 that look fantastic. I mean, prices all over the place. So again, that is not a steadfast rule on shopping for a leather jacket.
A little bit more, save up, and buy a higher quality leather jacket that you're going to be absolutely amazingly happy with. All right, now this brings me to what
spending more for something doesn't mean you're going to be happier with it. That's just not the case at all.
What is an average price point for a high quality leather jacket? $500, in my opinion, is a solid price point.
No, it's only a solid price point because what he's going to pitch you are jackets from Thursday Boots that are in the $350 to $500 price range. That there is no set price range on where you get quality. And that's the same. We could make that argument again with Rolex watches. I always love to come back to this, but the difference between quality of a $10,000 Rolex versus a $100 Invicta, is there a difference? Sure. Is there going to be could there potentially be a leather jacket difference from spending $1,500 to $100? Sure. It's not a steadfast rule. You have to take each product as they come. So this is, again, a pitch. This is a planting a seed because he's going to come back and push the brand that he's collaborating with today.
They go up. They also go a little bit down. But in my experience, the $500 price point, you're going to get great leather. You're also going to get great construction. Now,
Okay, that is a complete fabrication. Nobody has any way of knowing by picking just a random number out of the air that you're going to get a jacket of high quality. I would appreciate this video more if he was talking about the specifics of the brand he's going to recommend, Thursday Boots, and talk about why their jackets are high quality. But he's not really gonna give you the examples here. He's just basically throwing information at you without any real backup for it. So let's move on.
now, the one caveat to that is the company Thursday Boots, right? They are.
So here's the pitch. The one caveat to that is Thursday Boots, as if Thursday Boots is doing something that nobody else is doing. Guys, Thursday Boots is a fashion company. They are not a leather jacket specific company. They have boots. They have all different kinds of products. I always kind of compare this to like what watch movements do. You know what I mean? We have Seiko, like for instance, like Invicta will use, or a lot of brands, micro brand watches, focus on the build and then they outsource the movement because they don't want to do two different things. They want to focus on one aspect. I'm not saying a company can't do both, but again, Thursday Boots is not a specific leather jacket company like a brand like Pretender Leathers. Now, I'm not trying to pitch you here, but I do encourage you, if you don't mind waiting, and I don't know what the situation is like now with Ukraine, because that is where you're going to get it directly from. I have two of their jackets, and bar none, they're the best quality jackets that I've on of anything I've ever put on a store. And remember, if you're going to a company that's, again, Thursday Boots is a company that you're not going to find, to the best of my knowledge, in a brick and mortar store. But when you go into a brick and mortar store, you're paying markup. And everybody likes to forget about that little thing called markup. You have the manufacturer who's making something, who's going to mark it up to the retailer, who's going to buy it at wholesale. Then the retailer is going to mark that jacket up based on supply, demand, and their expenses. So again, this is a completely false statement, but let's hear what he has to say about Thursday Boots.
For today's videos,
I mean, hell, it's called Thursday Boot Company.
Sponsor, but the reason why I love them so much in terms of their boots, but also their leather jackets like the one that I'm wearing, all right, is because they are direct to consumer. They've cut out the middleman, which means they can offer a crazy high quality product at an incredible price.
And all right, so it's just funny how YouTube influencers like to use this. We cut out the middleman. When Movement does this, then suddenly people say they buy their watches from AliExpress and mark them up, and they're cutting out the middleman, right? So again, it always comes down to these YouTube influencers who just really kind of make things up. Now, I'm not saying that you might get a little bit of savings, but I can tell you that at minimum, Thursday Boots Company, their Thursday Boots Jacket Company, their jackets start at $350, and $350 that opens up a lot of doors for a lot of other brands that are selling direct to consumer right off Amazon. So keep that in mind. Again, this is a sales pitch.
And that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with their boots for the first time.
All right, so I can't really confirm or deny why Alpha M fell in love with their boots. I can only assume that he probably fell in love with them because they provide him boots, which again, I'm not knocking a YouTube influencer getting free products. I get free products all the time, but there's a difference between planting seeds of doubt for you to push a brand that somebody has collaborated with you on, or being honest about what you're getting. I would much rather appreciate this video of him coming out, showing the jackets, showing you what they look like, giving people the options on colors, on maybe fit. But again, this is just a sales pitch. This is a sleazy car salesman commercial trying to dissuade anybody from spending under $200 for a leather jacket, but only buy it from Thursday Boots because they're giving you direct to consumer, amazing quality for a price that you can't get with other brands. This is complete nonsense.
I was spending $500, $600, $700 for high quality boots. Thursdays they're like $200.
And I can guarantee you, just based on my little channel, I collaborate with brands all the time sending me products. Again, Alpha M, this is a gigantic channel. I don't want to state anything that's untrue like other folks on YouTube, but I'll tell you right now that a guy with 6.61 million subscribers is probably not paying for anything from Thursday Boot Company. I mean, for a little channel like mine, I work with companies all the time looking to send products in exchange for a review. A company like this, I can almost guarantee you, that he doesn't pay for anything from this company. And there's nothing wrong with that, but take with a grain of salt what he's telling you. It's not like he's sharing you these boots and saying, hey, look at how great these look. Check them out if you're interested, if you like the way this looks. And being like an influencer, like what an influencer should do is share the products, explain what you're getting for your money, and then link you to the products, not bash other products that he's not affiliated with, okay?
But the quality is next level and better.
The quality is not next level. That is a subjective assessment. Not everybody's going to believe the quality of things I recommend are great. Like a lot of folks don't believe Invicta watches are good, right? There's nothing I can do to change that. It's ultimately up to the person shopping with their own hard-earned money to buy what makes them happy. But this is just maybe these, I'm sure Thursday boots, I'm sure their jackets are nice. I'm sure their boots are nice, but they're not, in my opinion, any nicer than any other brand out there. You're gonna have brands that are more expensive that are just as nice, brands that are more expensive that are not as nice. There are price points and quality difference all over the board. And just to take somebody's word for it is something I always tell you guys, don't just do that. Don't do that. Don't do that with me. Learn about the products and make an educated decision.
Than a lot of boots that I've spent, like literally $500, $600, $700.
Okay, Alpha M lives in a different world. Like this is. I don't know anybody besides my sister who spent $600 on a pair of boots or shoes, and that was for her wedding day. I think they were a pair of Christian Louboutins, right? All right, so I don't buy $600 boots, and I can tell you right now, if you were to go compare a $600 pair of cowboy boots from a reputable brand compared to some Chelsea boots, there's a huge difference in quality, a huge difference in I guess the materials used. I mean, that's, to me, I can rationalize, not that I would, but paying a lot of money for a good pair of cowboy boots is different than paying $500-$600 for some Chelsea boots. All right, and when you start buying brand names, and what we consider luxury brands, you pay for the name. That most of what you pay for in a luxury brand is the name. And again, this is a guy who's detached from normal folks' reality. Most people don't spend $600 on a pair of Chelsea boots.
Their leather jackets, same thing. I literally have spent $1,200 on leather jackets before, and
yeah, if you go to the mall and go buy like some of the other videos that he's put up where he's leather jacket shopping, go and buy an All Saints, go and buy a Seven for All Mankind, go and buy these extremely heavily marked up brands, and you're going to pay $1,200. Okay, I don't know where. I mean, this is an intelligent guy. I mean, obviously he's doing this on purpose. And people know what you get for your quality. It's what you get for your money versus quality. It's very easy to make that assessment by actually getting your hands on things. It's a little harder online because you have to take our word for it, right? But ultimately, always buy from places that have a good return policy. And this way, if you don't like it, you can send it back. But I can tell you right now, again, you don't have to spend $1,200 for a quality leather jacket. He's going to state it later in the video that you can get this brand Tuesday boots. $350 is going to get you the same quality as 12. So is it a stretch to say that 200 or 100 can't get you the same quality as 350? I can guarantee you it can. So let's move forward here.
Thursday jackets are.
I just want to state also is that if you look at what you guys know, I've done some Rock Revival jean reviews. Rock Revival jeans are extremely expensive. They're like $160 to $180 for a pair of jeans. Are they any better quality than my $19.99 or $15 Amazon jeans? Absolutely not. You're paying for the name and you're paying for the look. Rock Revival at least has a very unique embroidered look, but as far as quality, I've torn out the legs and have the jeans fail more with Rock Revival jeans than I do any of my other $19 Amazon brands. But again, you're not paying for quality, you're paying for the look. And Rock Revival jeans is kind of unique because if you want that look, they're the only ones you can go with. There's nobody else who makes jeans that look like that, surprisingly. Whether you like it or not, that is the facts, and that's why you pay more for them. But it sure as hell is not about quality.
Under $400, and honestly, the quality is equal, if not a little bit better. If you want to check out the third.
So we're going to make the rationale that now you can spend $400 to get a $1,200 quality jacket. Absurd.
Thursday leather jacket.
It's true, but it's absurd that you pick the price point of $200. Again, if you can make the statement that a $300 or $400 jacket, the quality is better than a $1,200 jacket, then is it a stretch to state that a $99 jacket or a $199 jacket is better or not equal to a Thursday Boots $400 jacket? It's just, again, he's pitching this false idea.
Jackets or boots, guys. I'm going to have a special link down below. Go and check them out. They've got,
and I just want to say again, hi to Kyle, Jet, and Israel, man. Thanks for joining. Just doing kind of a not really so much a question and answer feed today, but just about leather jacket quality, a rebuttal video that Alpha M put up with some nonsense. So you guys know I like to do these once in a while.
some of the most sexy, badass styles out there. This current one that I'm wearing, this is my favorite leather jacket. It's a matte black racer jacket, and in my opinion, it's one of the most classic, timeless options a dude can wear. But they've got it in a bunch.
Again, subjective, but he did say, in his opinion, it is a classic jacket. However, I think a more classic, we want to use the word classic, would be more of like a kind of a Terminator police style leather jacket. To me, that the Brando style is way more classic than a modern cafe racer jacket, but that is subjective.
Bunch of different colors. Like, check this out. This like matte brown is absolute perfection. Anyway, guys, if you want to check out Thursday Boots in terms of the leather jackets, now is the time because they are going to sell out. The prices are insane.
Okay, so I've been looking for several days. I haven't sold out. Just to let you guys know. The prices are not insane. Okay, they're not insane. $350 to $425 for a leather jacket. That's not an insane price.
And if you go through that link, guys, you're going to get a special deal. Go check them out. Bottom line is you got to find a jacket that fits with your budget, but also your style, which is the second thing and the second rule. Understand what jacket is going to be most versatile for you.
Okay, so I agree with him. You do have to find a jacket that's going to be most versatile for you based on your style, your desire, and your comfort level. I agree.
Of leather jacket style, guys, there are a few of them. In my opinion, there are three that I love the most. All right. The racer jacket is one of my all-time favorites because I feel like it's the most versatile. It works for young dudes, but it also works for older dudes because it's a very minimal and streamlined aesthetic. One of the problems with a lot of other leather jackets on the market is that they start to overdo it in terms of like stitching and quilting and zippers everywhere. Those are the leather jackets that make older dudes look stupid. And
so, I mean, again, this is just a very subjective statement. I don't like when guys have to bash other people in order to pitch your product, right? One could easily say that, a 40-year-old guy wearing two hoop earrings looks stupid, but yet Alpha M will rationalize why that look is okay because he likes it. Later in the video, he's going to show what he's talking about is kind of like your typical Brando jacket with the pockets and the zippers. I agree. That is a more of a bolder look, definitely more of a bad boy look. That's why they're calling the Brando jacket. But he's going to actually wear one. He'll make an excuse for. Doesn't have as many pockets, but it still has the zippers. But again, because it's a Thursday boot variation and he likes it, it's okay, and he doesn't look like a dumbass, right? Ultimately, Alpha M likes to plant seeds of insults towards people in order to get them to buy the products he's recommending. It's a sleazy business tactic. And for a guy who's been in sales most of his life, I think this is something that somebody should have taught him at some point. One of the first rules of sales is you don't bash your competitor and you don't turn around and bash products that people like. Think about somebody going into a store and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for this particular jacket." And then he's pitching you on Thursday Boots, and next thing you know, he's like, "Oh man, if the consumer says, well, what do you think about Wilson leather?" And he's like, "Oh, Wilson's garbage, man. Those are shit jackets, right?" And then let's say you've purchased Wilson jackets in the past, that consumer has. Now you've automatically insulted your customer. You've insulted their ability to make a decision. You've insulted them as a human being. That's not going to work. If I had a salesman do that, I'd be like, "Dude, what the fuck? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?" Right? And so that's one of the rules of sales is don't bash any brands because you never know what your customer likes and dislikes. So just to me, for a guy who's had this much experience in sales, it's kind of surprising he still uses these tactics. This is sleazy used car salesman tactics, in my opinion.
And so what I'd recommend,
not to say there aren't great used car salesmen,
and to stick with something that's a little bit more timeless, a little bit more classic. Now, if you're a little bit more rugged.
All right, so timeless and classic. I don't know of any other jacket that is more classic than the typical Brando jacket. Think about the guys in the 50s, the greasers. That is the classic style. Think about when we think of classic. Anything classic is that day and age. So again, I mean, I can't picture any other jackets that's more classic than your typical Brando LA police style biker jacket.
A little bit more bad boy, you might want to go with something like this, which is like a moto style jacket.
That's not a moto style jacket. A moto style jacket is closer to a the jacket he's wearing in the video, which is a cafe racer. That's more typical where you don't have the collar. That's a moto jacket. What he's showing is a typical Brando jacket. That's an old school classic kind of police motorcycle jacket. So he's completely incorrect.
The moto style jacket is one of my
It's not a moto style jacket.
favorites, but it takes a certain outfit and it definitely takes a certain dude in order to pull it off and look amazing.
No, it doesn't. It just takes you. You right there, you watching right now. It just takes you saying, I like that and want to wear it. Okay. That's all it takes. You're going to look cool. You're going to look badass. Nobody puts on a leather jacket and doesn't look badass. I don't care who you are. A leather jacket is badass. What the problem we have in today's society is there are so many YouTube, Instagram, all these different platforms, these influencers. We see it across the board with everything. Any agenda somebody wants to push, they lie, they're sleazy, and I'm not saying all of them. Of course, I'm a YouTube influencer too, right? But I try to make my reviews objective. Naturally, you're going to have some subjective parts of a review. Naturally, would you want to see a robot talking about a product? That's not fun. I like to give you guys it's fun to share things that we like. But it's also nice to be respectful and nice to understand that everybody has things that they like differently, right? And so this is not a good approach for Alpha M. Again, it works for him because he's got 6 million subscribers, so maybe I should start insulting people. But remember, I only insult people who throw the first stone. Like I say, some folks might watch it and say, well, what about Rolex? Well, what about Rolex? I think Rolex is a fine watch. It's overpriced for my budget. It's overpriced for any budget I'll ever have. I can't rationalize what you get for your money. That doesn't mean you shouldn't buy it. So anybody can buy this jacket and feel great. Everybody's body's different, right? If you're in really great shape, it's going to fit you differently than if you're not, right? And ultimately, it depends on how you want to look and what work you're willing to put into yourself, right? But that shouldn't dissuade you. If you are a big boy, right, and you don't look like Alpha M or you don't look like anybody that you're watching to gain style advice, there's nothing wrong with you wearing something that you genuinely like. You're not going to look like him, right? I mean, he's got fantastic hair. I'm never going to have that fantastic hair, right? So you have to do things to make yourselves feel good and do things that genuinely you like. And people who don't like it, fuck them. That's my attitude.
And these jackets are another one that you got to be a little bit careful. If you're a little bit older, a little bit more like basic in terms of your classic style, throwing on a jacket like this is definitely going to make people go, oh, really?
No, that's not going to make people go, oh, really? That's if you hang around pompous, over opinionated douchebags, then maybe they're going to do that. But most people are going to be like, man, cool jacket. Remember, age, the old stupid saying, age ain't nothing but a number. It kind of applies to this, Again, it's up to you to decide how you want to look, right? People can give you all kinds of I don't even like giving style advice. What I give you is I share with you what I like. And if you watch it and you think it looks cool or you think you might apply that to your life, then great. Then you find value in my video. There's lots of dudes who are going to look at a watch like this, a Nubeo 50 millimeter, right? With that bright orange red face and say, that's ridiculous. I don't want to wear it. But it's important to be respectful of one another and to let people be themselves, Don't be a bully. Don't be a douchebag. Really, people who talk shit about other people really are just jealous. And it always comes back to that. So wear what you like, where it makes you happy. Nobody's going to look at you and say, really? I mean, maybe pompous douchebags will, but I mean, is that the kind of people you want to hang out with? Not me. And say that to me.
And so if you're looking for one that's a bit more timeless and classic, I would definitely go with something like a racer jacket.
And I think what he means timeless and classic is something simple and not so loud. I will say that the classic Brando jacket is a loud, badass looking, when we think of bad to the bone, right? I mean, little Billy Idol, turn that shit on. That's what he's rocking, And so it is a more of a bad. If we have a badass scale, absolutely, the Brando biker jacket I think is at the top of the badass scale. But again, it just depends on what you want to wear. No, it is, in my opinion, the most classic leather jacket.
Now, another option that I absolutely love is the bomber jacket, right? The bomber jacket, it comes in a lot of different styles, a lot of different colors, but
so do every other jacket. I mean, the bomber jacket comes, Jackets come in all different colors. For the most part, whatever color you want to get in a jacket, as far as the main ones, you can get pink, you can get black, you can get red, you can get off-white, you can get distressed, you can get gray. I mean, there's a link in the description of this video. Click it. Check out some of the ones that I own. All those jackets, even the black ones, usually, especially by Laverapel, they come in all different colors, right? Black is going to be your most classic. And I mean, I'm going to make a recommendation, I think if you don't have a leather jacket and you're looking to add one to your collection, I think you really can't go wrong with black to start off with. But again, after you get the black, it's like Invicta watches. You're gonna get one and you say, oh man, I want to get this color or that color. And that's what's cool about buying affordable products, is that you can afford to buy all different kinds of colors and really add to your collection and to your wardrobe.
A leather bomber or suede bomber is an incredible option for a lightweight jacket. Now, the downside to these is that they're not very versatile in terms of seasons. They're great for the spring and the fall, the winter and the summer, not at all.
All right, so he's being specific to Thursday boot bombers, which appear to be sort of like a suede. Um, yeah, you the the fall has really nothing to do with it, or the winter. What it has to do with whether you should wear a suede jacket is, what is the weather like? Is it raining or is it snowing? You generally don't want to wear suede or like a matte finish leather. You can get away with it more with matte finish, but generally you don't want to wear suede when it's raining. Suede will stain. However, I recommend with any jacket that you get, especially whether it be a matte finish, like whatever the material may be, whatever it is, as long as and definitely check with the manufacturer first. Do a little test spot. But I always recommend spraying with some sort of water repellent. The water repellent not only repels water and prevents staining, it prevents staining. So if you brush up against something dirty, it's going to be easier to kind of wipe off. So just kind of keep that in mind. What I found with affordable jackets, and this is the case with some really affordable jackets in that sub $100 price range, some of them, depending on how they've tanned them, you might, and it's only happened once with me, you might have a situation where if it gets wet and you go to wipe it, some of that dye comes off. Now, that is, I will state, you probably won't have that happen with a higher quality jacket, but don't let the price determine that. I've seen the same jacket for 99. I've seen it up to 200. I've seen it for 250. It's the same jacket. A lot of the jackets a lot of them comes from Pakistan and India. Again, depends on which one you buy, which brand name, and I mean, there's no steadfast rules. My point with all of this, but just keep that in mind. It's always good to condition a suede or lambskin jacket with some water repellent.
Three leather jacket styles are going to be your most common and, in my opinion, the most versatile. Like I said, if you're a little bit older or you want to get the most style bang for your buck out of them, I would definitely go with something like the moto jacket or the racer jacket, the one I'm wearing, or the bomber jacket. But there are some other options like the flight jacket, which is going to be a little bit bigger, bulkier. It's going to have like the sheer link collar, but it's definitely.
So you can get the classic cafe racer jacket and have it be bulkier. A lot of the brands that you get on Amazon, like Laverapel, I think I have about 4 of those in my collection. Very affordable, very lightweight jacket, but you can get it with different liners. So if you get something with a thicker liner, of course, you might want to upsize a little bit. It's going to be warmer. I always tend to get my jackets with just a standard, very lightweight liner, more form fitted. And the idea in that is that you could always throw on an extra shirt. I'm always running hot, so I don't really want a super heavy warm coat. Again, it depends on where you live. If you're living in states that are generally warmer, you're not going to want to get a jacket with any kind of liner, right? Cool thing is, a lot of the affordable jackets also have zip out liners. I don't know if any Thursday boot jacket has, seems really weird saying Thursday boot jacket, but I don't think any of them have zip out liners. So definitely check out Milwaukee Leather. They're harder to find now. An incredible price jacket. And I have another one coming this Sunday, which I'll share with you guys. I forget the brand name, but that's an option for you as well. I'll come back to that.
Definitely a classic style that looks great on some dudes. The third.
No, not on some dudes. It looks great on any dude who says, I like this. There's no alpha M rule for everything. And this is, I'm not trying to beat up alpha M here. This guy does provide a lot of really cool, good information, right? And I think that obviously there's a market for men's advice when it comes to grooming. But remember, most guys are going to listen to guys that they kind of look up to a little bit, right? And so naturally, he has that aspect about his personality and about his look. But remember, this is not like the word. This is not etched in granite. You can buy what makes you happy, and you don't have to worry about whether you're going to get Alpha M's fucking approval or not.
Leather jacket wearing rule to make you look like a badass and not a dumbass, gentlemen, is all about fit. Fit, gentlemen. Actually, I need to move this so you can actually see what I'm talking about real quick. I'll see you beautiful things later. All right, so here's the deal. Fit, right? You want to make sure that the leather jacket you're actually buying fits you flawlessly. And the beautiful thing about leather is that when you get it, if it's a little bit snug, it will stretch out. It will.
All right, so I think fit is important, but remember, fit is also subjective. Just because Alpha M likes his jackets fitted, just because I like my jackets fitted, doesn't mean you will. He's going to show a picture of Kanye West with a really big baggy jacket. Now, remember, Kanye West has his own style. I'm not a fan of Kanye West, but that doesn't mean I am going to insult Kanye West's style. Remember, in the hip hop kind of world, clothes generally, especially in the 90s, and a lot of these older kind of guys who were part of the hip hop kind of era in the 90s, we even myself included, we come from times where I don't know about you guys, but I wore the big baggy velour tracksuits, right? I wore a lot of my leather jackets that I got from Wilson Leather back in the early 2000s, late 90s are bigger. The mediums fit more like a large nowadays. So clothing back then, remember the board jeans, Anchor Blue with their 30-inch leg openings, Jinko jeans, brands like the styles kind of go in waves. And so at that time, things were made a little bit larger. Now, I don't wear a lot of those jackets because I like my jackets fitted. If I could go back and just get a bunch of smalls, I would much rather prefer, but I still have them. They're part of the collection. But remember, just because I may not like something baggy doesn't mean that you shouldn't wear it. There's guys who email me all the time. They're like, what size should I get? I'm 160. I'm a 165.7. I normally wear large. I'm like, dude, that's really big. One of my best friends, he wears large shirts and he's like 120. Very trim dude. So it just depends on it's how he likes his clothes to fit. Everybody's different. There are no steadfast rules on this. What matters is how you want the jacket to look.
Will loosen up. I would definitely rather you get one that's a little bit snug as opposed to one that's really loose right off the rack. And in terms of sleeve length, guys, you want to make sure that it's not too long, all right? In terms of coming down and covering your knuckles. If it is, it's definitely not going to be the right style or the right size for you.
Again, it may be the right style. If you are looking to wear more of a larger, baggier type of style, then that's the right style. There is no like, oh, Alpha M said it's not the right style, so it can't be. Now, I will state that sleeves, in my opinion, sleeves too long generally starts to look like it's for me personally, if I'm wearing a jacket with sleeves that are too long, then I kind of feel like the coat's too big. And sleeve length is a big deal. The problem is with a lot of jackets you buy online is that everybody's arms are different lengths, right? So it's always best, I think, if you can get a jacket that's a little bit shorter. I would rather a shorter sleeve than a longer sleeve. But remember, there are a lot of jackets that aren't necessarily designed for you for a crash impact on a motorcycle. They don't have armor plates, but generally they make the sleeves a little bit longer on biker style jackets because when you got your arms on the handlebars, you're leaning, you're reaching, and so they want the sleeve to still cover your wrists and not be kind of cropping up. The idea is to keep the wind out, right? And so that's why some of the biker jackets tend to have longer sleeves. All the jackets that he's reviewing here by this company are not biker jackets. They're bomber style, they're biker style jackets. They're not really designed for riding. So these are fashion jackets. These are like guys will state fashion watches. These are fashion jackets. Nothing wrong with them. I have a lot of fashion jackets, but I also have some icon riding jackets that came with the armor plates. They're MotoGP style jackets that are designed for you to take an impact and not, rip your skin off. They help. They have the armor plates. The armor plates are removable. I sold my motorcycle years ago. I don't have one anymore, so I took the armor plates out. But if I ever get another one, probably won't, but I can put those back in. So
try a different one, or you may have to try a different brand because different brands of jackets are going to be different proportions. And so you got to make sure that it fits you flawlessly and looks amazing.
It doesn't have to be flawless. This isn't, it doesn't have to be flawless. I mean, if you want flawless, you go to a company who makes you a custom leather jacket. They don't, you don't just buy it off the rack. Perfect example is Pretender Leathers. When you order from Pretender Leathers, you can't just buy small, medium, or large. You send them your measurements, they make you the jacket. And those jackets are like $380, $450. So again, don't know if you can get them now with everything going on in Ukraine, but incredibly underpriced. And I think the price is so low is because they're really just trying to get their brand out there, push the jackets out. But incredible, hands down, best jacket that I own, Pretender Leathers. and the price unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to find a jacket perfectly every single time. Like if you wear a small like me, I'll buy a small by Milwaukee. It's like, ooh, this fits great. I'll buy a small by Laverpel. It would be a little bit too snug. I'll buy the same jacket, different style through Laverpel, and it may fit differently. So buying online is definitely a little bit trickier. But if a company has a good return policy, I usually buy from Amazon when it comes to most leather jackets. You can buy two, return the one you don't like, right, or that doesn't fit you. So
Now, the next rule we got to talk about is about the leather itself. What color is going to be best? In my opinion, black is the most badass classic option. But brown, gentlemen, I love me some brown leather jackets.
I feel like this is like a kid being like, "What kind of ice cream do you want?" Like, I love chocolate. All right, here's your chocolate. Well, I like strawberry too. All right, here's a little straw. Well, I really like vanilla. It's like, dude, they're all nice. Like every color is nice. But I will state that if you don't have a black leather jacket and you're in the market, I think black is a really safe color. I mean, they're all pretty nice. I don't think one's more badass than another. I think, if you look at Keanu Reeves and John Wick, that brown leather jacket looks sick. I don't think anybody's more badass than that dude, right? Again, it really comes down to your personal preference.
Honestly, I get more compliments on the brown jackets that I own than the black ones. Now, don't get me wrong, black.
Maybe because maybe the brown ones are like on sale, or Thursday Boots is trying to move those. Maybe I don't know. Just a guess. I don't know.
It's a classic. It's also one of the most badass, sexy options. But brown, in my opinion,
dude really is focused on really being badass and sexy. Most average people are just like, hey, I just want to feel good. I want to look good. And generally when you do, right? I don't generally leave the house every day like worrying about whether I'm going to look. And I like to look nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I'm not looking to impress anybody other than myself. So, all right, but hey, we all have priorities, right?
it's a little bit more versatile. It's also a little bit softer. The black sometimes can be a little bit harsh and a little bit aggressive. The brown, it's soft.
I mean, only to a judgmental moron. I mean, I don't think if you are and this is for if you're watching, this is the kind of person. If you look at somebody wearing a black leather jacket and you're intimidated, I think that you really need to question your ability to reason and to like have those critical thinking skills to say, hey, that's just a inanimate black leather jacket. I will state though, there is a sort of a stereotype with using the word badass, because black leather does kind of seem to be like it's bad boy, right? And this is kind of what has always stuck with leather jackets, but it doesn't have to be. And you're not gonna if you're intimidating. I seriously, if I was wearing one of my black leather jackets, somebody felt intimidated. I would leave that scene rather quickly because I'm in the presence of some Karens. So no offense to you Karens out there. It's terrible at that name. It's just been repurposed, but it is what it is, So
it's supple, but it's also going to add depth and dimension to your outfit. The gray suede or leather, guys, is also another incredible.
I want chocolate ice cream. I want vanilla
option. It's something that's going to be a little bit less versatile in terms of not working with as much, but when you wear it, you're definitely going to get some compliments. Now, in terms of the lighter shades,
he doesn't know that.
Of like tan, this is the one that I would definitely be a little bit more cautious or careful of. Because of the light color, it will look good, but it's not going to be as versatile as something that's a little bit darker. Like,
I mean, I don't know about you, but generally, like, I'm like, this seems like a man who's, I mean, I'm not trying to diss him at all. Please know that. But it's like, I just don't worry too much about, like, ooh, it's just tough to pull off. Like, it's a jacket. I'm like, ooh, I feel like wearing brown today. I throw on the brown, I mean, generally, whatever color you go with, most time we wear blue jeans anyway, unless you're like a business executive or you wear a suit all the time, then yeah, maybe the biker jacket may not be like I'm not gonna use the word appropriate, but it's gonna be a different look, right? But look at all the different, there's lots of guys who ride motorcycles to work. It really depends on what on you. Again, there are no steadfast rules, right? All right, all right.
Like the browns or the black. In terms of leather finish, guys, you've got a few different options, right? Suede, I absolutely love. It's soft, it's supple, but the downside to suede is that it is going to be,
just to give a little taste of the whole like don't look like an idiot, don't look stupid. Some folks would say suede jackets look extremely dated and straight from the 80s and kind of douchey. But again, would that be very nice of somebody to say? Absolutely not. I'm just trying to prove a point here. I don't think suede is juicy. Juicy is douchey. Could be kind of juicy though. But I mean, again, buy what you like, buy what makes you happy. I mean, some materials are going to be a little more dated. I think suede is absolutely one of them, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. That doesn't mean that I have combination suede and black leather, but mainly I have leather.
Or have a tendency to stain a little bit better. All right. Now, something else that's not is going to be something with a higher shine. The higher shine leathers are definitely going to be a little bit more robust in terms of finish, not to mention durability. But a nice hybrid is actually like the jacket I'm wearing from Thursday. It's sort of like a matte leather, which means it's going to have the durability of a shiny leather, but a little bit more texture and contrast like the suede. Here's another.
To me, those jackets don't even look like leather. I mean, if we're being honest about whether or not a jacket, like, you have to spend over 200 for a jacket that doesn't look fake. Like, to me, these look like felt jackets, or like a almost like a tracksuit type material. They don't even look like real leather. But anyway, subjective.
Example of that super badass like matte leather. It just has a nice rich texture without it being like delicate like suede. Now, the thing that I love.
I mean, suede isn't really delicate. All leather is pretty durable, but remember, you just have to be a little careful with wet conditions when it comes to suede. And suede, you can kind of scrape it too, but you can do that with leather too. So I don't really know if one's more durable than the other than for the water resistance.
About this jacket is that I actually have some Thursday boots in the same matte finish, which means I can look like the ultimate badass with this jacket and either of these boots, either the cap toe captains or the Chelsea's guys. I'm going to link to these down below.
I mean, just my opinion. I'm sure they're fine boots, but those boots look like 1999 boots from the Walmart shoe section. And nothing wrong with 1999 boots in the Walmart shoe section. Those are, in my opinion, extremely plain, simple, boring, nothing to write home about. I would never spend $200 on a pair of boots, but that is up to you.
As well. All right. The bottom line is Thursday's boots are the best in the business.
Stay focused, Alpha. Stay focused on the jackets.
In terms of price, in terms of construction, the durability, the quality is next level.
I saw a pair of cowboy boots there. I would never buy a pair of Thursday boots, cowboy boots. No. For $250? No.
And like I said, because they're direct to consumer, they can offer you a premium quality product for.
I was going to pause real quick here and just catch up on the comments. We have only 3 people in the room. Whenever I put the word Invicta in the title, we get more people. But anyway, Urban, what's up, my man? How's it going, sir? Of course, Ian, what's going on, man? What we're doing today, if you haven't guessed it already, is just doing a leather jacket rebuttal video, just with some of the things Alpha M is he's planting seeds of doubt. Mainly that you have to spend over $200 to get a real leather jacket. That's the biggest lie in his video. The other stuff is more subjective, but again, just kind of, you guys know I like to kind of put up these rebuttal videos because there are a lot of people with a channel this large, get 6.61 million subscribers. That's a lot of reach, and that's a lot of fake news being put out there. So for the folks who follow me, who may find this video in the market for a leather jacket, you don't have to spend $400 to get a really nice jacket you're going to be happy with.
For the best prices out there on the market. Guys, the next rule I just want to.
No, I don't think that they're the best prices out there on the market, but that's okay if you think that $200 pair of basic plain Chelsea boots, if that's that's okay. You think that, but I don't agree.
Talk about real quick is age appropriateness. And this is a big bone of contention among a lot of people. All right,
No, it's not. It's only a bone of contention from pompous busybodies who have no business giving people style advice.
A lot of dudes, a lot of women say, oh, if you're over a certain age, you can't wear leather, or you shouldn't, or you're going to look like a dumbass if you do. In my opinion, it's absolute bullshit. Now,
yes, thank you. Finally, Alpha M, we agree on something. It is absolute bullshit for anybody to give anybody style advice. What I like to do is give style recommendations. And so again, you may not like my style. My style is pretty basic. I like the Henleys. I like leather jackets. I'm an affordable clothes shopper, right? Granted, I do have some more expensive Rock Revival jeans, but generally, as a rule of thumb, I'm all about the affordable stuff. I like to have a nice variety of stuff, and especially, variety of watches, cologne. I always have something different that I can, that I can wear and enjoy, rather than spending $1,000 on one leather jacket, or $800 on a pair of cowboy boots, or constantly buying $200 pair of jeans. I can tell you that the quality differences with jeans, I mean, it's absurd. You're paying for the look, you're paying for the name. I mean, that can be said with most things out there.
Sir,
but I do agree. Thank you, Alf M. And again, this is another case where some of the other YouTube influencers, and I forget her name, some of these women we have on here giving style advice, what women like. It's like, bitch, you're one woman. Like, that's not, maybe that's what you like, but there's lots of women out there who like different guys, different style, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And all these people seem to think that they are the style gurus, that this is the only thing you should listen to. Absolutely false. Do and wear, buy things that make you happy, that call to you. But I'm glad he said that. Yeah, you can be any age and rock leather.
certain jackets are going to make you look a little bit more youthful and make you look like you're trying a little bit harder. But if you go with something that's a little bit more timeless and classic, like the Moto or the Racer or the Bomber, you can wear it literally.
It's like 3 different jackets there. Like, that's like most of the jackets on the market.
Any age, any style, it doesn't matter.
So he's showing a picture here of, he flashes a picture here of, looks like Pierce Brosnan, a very cool cat, great hair too. A very cool cat wearing what appears to be a leather jacket, but to me, that almost looks like a pleather members only jacket. It could be leather, we're not really 100% sure, but to me, it looks like a members only jacket. So just be clear on that.
You look amazing. Balanced.
Yes, you do look amazing in leather. Leather jackets are great, guys. Again, you can look amazing as well. What's most important is that you feel amazing and hear about the way that you look.
You need to make sure that the outfit balances your style and your aesthetic. All right. What I mean by this is if you're wearing like pleated,
yes, what do you mean by this?
Khakis and a striped polo, if you throw on a badass like bomber jacket that's all like zippers and like padded, you're gonna look a little bit like a douche, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, poor Brian, he's trying too hard." But
now, only pop the scumbags that maybe he hangs around are gonna say that. Yeah, I mean, this is just again planting the seed of doubt that God forbid somebody might not like what you're wearing. Fuck those people. Like, who gives a shit if people don't like what you're wearing? Wear what makes you happy. And again, that sort of description of a guy wearing pleated khakis and a polo and then a bomber jacket. I've seen many guys rocking it. There's guys who ride motorcycles to work and maybe are wearing, that's their jacket, right? Leather does provide some wind resistance, even if it's not providing any kind of like super protection. If it's not a traditional jacket designed for a crash. But again, who are you, right? I mean, I feel like sometimes these guys like really like these guys are extremely arrogant and really full of themselves. It's unbelievable.
On the flip side, if you're going with the timeless classic style, simple t-shirt, Henley, badass jeans, sexy ass boots, it doesn't matter what age, as long as
they're Thursday boots.
You feel comfortable and you're confident rocking the outfit. Speaking of outfits, now what I'd like to do is go over a few of my favorite ways.
All right, so that's the end of the video here, and he's going to show some outfit recommendations. Again, I never really think that I always think it's kind of odd when I see people giving style advice, because most of what people wear nowadays is kind of all the same thing. You have a shirt, right? We have pants. I mean, most people wear jeans, and I don't think there's really anything stylish about a black t-shirt or even this red Henley shirt, right? This is just clothing, right? This is not like some fashion show here. This is just things that anybody can wear. It's not So I just think that it is kind of comical to me when guys are saying things like, oh, I give fashion advice. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But again, it just depends on, buy what makes you happy, buy what you guys like. But I think that when you watch people who do give style advice, right, I think that you can get inspiration sometimes. I think, when you see, like, for instance, I'm not a bomber jacket guy, but when I've seen Alpha rocking the bomber jacket, which he really likes, it makes me want to get my hands on one eventually, right? And they make so many different bomber jackets. I don't think I'd get a leather bomber jacket, because ultimately, even a leather bomber jacket you're going to pay more for looks very similar to the way a classic bomber jacket looks. So you can get some really nice ones that are more military style off Amazon for like $30. I mean, there's no shortage of bomber jackets on Amazon. But I think, again, that you can watch YouTube influencers and get some some recommendations. You might say, hey, I never thought about wearing, cowboy boots for that matter. I'm a cowboy boot guy, right? I'm not a sneaker guy. Nothing wrong with sneakers. There are times I watch somebody wearing sneakers with some skinny jeans. I'm like, oh, it's kind of sharp. Other times, have I bought a pair? No. I know sometimes people may watch me and say, I've never really been a cowboy boot guy, and I kind of like them. They look good. So, you can get inspiration from people and learn a little bit, learn about different products. You know, but again, I don't want you guys to ever watch me when I'm showing off a jacket and say, this is what you need to do. That you guys need to do what makes you happy. If I provide a little bit of influence there, a little bit of recommendation, so to speak, or a little bit of more of like again, my video is more of like a show and tell. You decide if you like it or not. I'm just sharing what I like. And I think that's kind of my approach when I review anything, right? So let me catch up with the comments here, and we'll just talk a little bit more, and then I'm going to do some more YouTube shorts because it's like 2:40 already, and I got to hit the gym already too. When I say gym, I mean garage. So all right, so again, guys, thanks for popping in. Only 4 of us, that's cool. The reason I did this video is not really to get a lot of interaction today, but I did do this video, and what I didn't want to do is have to edit it together, upload it, then do all the keywords. When you do a live feed, it just automatically live. So people are going to come back and watch this at a later date and then get a little bit of not style advice, but leather jacket advice, right? In case they see something like this. And I hope that this video will kind of rank under maybe shopping for a leather jacket kind of ideas in case somebody has seen this video and it's like, oh, I got to spend 200. No, you don't. So, all right. Scott, hey, Fat Cat and gang. What up, Scott? Mr. Urban, of course, says hello to you already, sir. He just said, just came in already recognizing the voice of that guy. I agree with that. I like to make the best of the little things. Absolutely. He says some of these top brands look ridiculous in a bad way. Yeah, sometimes again that is subjective, but like I'm not a guy who, when you look at a brand like Louis Vuitton, they do make other things that aren't as loud, right? But Louis Vuitton's kind of known for the brown LV print leather, right? With their bags, I've seen some expensive leather jackets like that, and that's really like that brand. If you're gonna buy a Louis Vuitton jacket like that, that's really loud. You're basically saying to people like, "Hey, I'm rocking Louis. This was not cheap," and that's the main reason you wear that. Me personally, I don't really like the way you look like it kind of looks like a more of a walking billboard. So again, that doesn't mean folks shouldn't buy it. I think it's when I see it, I'm like, damn, but not my thing. It's like an advertisement more than anything else, and I think that's why a lot of luxury brands do kind of have a very distinct kind of like monogram printing type style, right? That came out right. And then Chris just said, Chris, welcome. Chris, I don't recognize your name. Chris Fike. Cowboy boots make me slip and slide. Well, then you are probably buying leather bottom traditional cowboy boots. There's lots of cowboy boots that actually have a rubber sole. There's cowboy boots, a couple pairs that I got by Roper, I think. Is it Roper? Roper, pretty sure Roper, that actually have a work boot sole. So the bottom looks like your traditional work boots. Great grip. Just like a work boot, but they're cowboy boot style. So there's all different kinds of cowboy boots out there that you can that'll fix that problem for you slipping and sliding around, right? And then Israel, I'm going back here. Kyle, I don't know if you're still in the room here, but Ian just said this guy sounds like an idiot. He's a salesman, right? I'm not going to call him an idiot, but he's a salesman, and I just don't like his approach. It's not my approach. I don't like when it comes to anything, whether it be a Rolex watch, whether it be an Omega, whatever the case may be. There's lots of really great brands out there that you don't spend a lot of money on. Are there differences if you spend, with watches? I think it's a little bit easier because if you spend, $10,000 on a Rolex, right? You are getting, that quality control level is definitely higher. It doesn't mean it's a guarantee you're not going to have a problem, right? But I just think that, again, the old argument when it comes to quality that you don't have to spend that to get quality. Like the difference is you're going to get with a brand like Rolex or Omega they're not really tangible. Like you can't really, it's very hard to see any differences side by side. And with leather jackets, it's kind of similar, unless you have something that's like something you can see it's like triple stitched, right? There are jackets that are triple stitched and jackets that are not. That's something you can actually see. Now, that doesn't mean that that's like saying that the one that's not triple stitch is going to wear out in a year, right? I get the same arguments when it comes to like my hot tub I bought. That's a really popular video on my channel. It just was a video I put up to kind of help people on what to expect if you're buying a hot tub, from a big box store. A lot of the big box stores, they may sell the more expensive hot tubs, but generally your more expensive hot tubs are going to be like more fiberglass. And the one that I have is an Aquaterra. It's more of like, I don't know what the material is, but it's more of like, I don't want to, I'm using this a little loosely, but more like a pond liner. You can bend it. It's more durable in my opinion. It doesn't crack. And people are like, "Oh, your hot tub's gonna last 6 months." Like, dude, we're going on 4 years here, and it's been fantastic. So again, affordable hot tub. A lot of people who spend a lot more for things need to rationalize that, either because they feel, maybe they feel bad about their buying decision. Like, gosh, I really paid a lot more for that. I could have got that. That can't be good. It's got to be a reason. So they have to knock those affordable products in order to rationalize their own decision, because maybe deep down they're like, gosh, I think I paid too much, but a lot of people don't want to admit to being wrong, so they'll just say, oh, well, no, I got the $10,000 hot tub. Yours is a piece of shit. There's no way it's gonna last, and that's just not the truth. So you can get good and bad products at every price point. I've talked to guys on this channel who have Rolex, who have had nothing but problems over the years. Time Machine Eddie is one of them, who will tell you about his jet skiing experiences, and his Rolex watches falling apart, getting leaking, and his Invicta's never having that problem. So again, does that mean that you're going to have that problem with every Invicta or every Rolex, and every Rolex a piece of garbage? Absolutely not. But it's just to be noted that you can have good and bad luck with any product. Absolutely. I think it's safe to assume that a Rolex watch right out of the box is probably going to be more accurate if we're going automatic for automatic than the Invicta watch, but you can regulate an Invicta watch to be just as accurate. And that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to want to pay somebody to do that if you can't do that yourself. But again, it doesn't, because one might have a few advantages that may be important to some folks, it doesn't make the other product a piece of shit. Just like with Alpha, it doesn't mean that the sub $200 jacket is fake, like he stated in the video. So this is kind of like similar to his pitch when he did the video about movement watches being better than Rolex, right? And then he had all the watch snobs, all the pompous, guys come out the woodwork needing to, really roast him on it, and then he backpedaled, of course, and he mainly went too far in his sales pitch. And this is kind of a technique of his. He likes to downplay other brands. So he was pitching movement watches, and of course, downplaying Rolex helped to push the movement brand more. But I don't think he accounted for the backlash he had. If it was me, I just would have went with the flow, right? But I mean, he obviously came out and it's like, well, this is it was tongue in cheek, So if you had leather jacket companies or leather jacket connoisseurs come out the woodwork now, then he would pull the same kind of technique. Oh, it's just tongue in cheek, it's not really better, So yeah, it's just like tomorrow if like some $1,200 leather jacket company like Seven for All Mankind or something like that said, hey, you said that the Thursday boot jacket was just as nice, if not better, then he'd backpedal. But that's kind of how it is with a lot of these huge channels. I can almost, I don't know, how much money he makes per video, but I can assure you that I'm sure Thursday Boots, the collaboration between his channel and Thursday Boot Company, I'm sure these videos are not free in exchange for product. I'm sure he gets all that product for free, which is awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. That's how YouTube works. That's the whole point of having a YouTube channel. How do you make money on YouTube, you might ask? YouTube ad revenue, which is a very, very small part, takes forever. A channel like Alpha M's, I don't want to single out Alpha M here. I like Alpha M. I think I watch his channel every now and then. I am not subscribed though, just because I don't tend to take advice from people about things that I'm interested in. Generally, when I'm looking on YouTube, searching up, like a lot of what I search for, just so you guys know a little bit about me, is if I'm going to buy something or review something, I'll see what other people might have said about it. Cologne is probably something I look at the most, because cologne is so subjective. You're trying to find, if you're going to blind buy something, you're trying to find, will I like this, right? What's it smell like? And the worst thing about buying cologne online is to buy, and there's so many clones of cologne, like for instance, just to give you guys an example, when we look at something like Oud Ispahan, by Dior, that's been compared to like Frank Olivier's Oud Touch, and then Oud Vanille. And when I bought Oud Touch, I was like, oh, great, I got a clone of Oud Ispahan. And then, when you go blind buying other fragrances, I feel like a lot of times fragrance companies like rebrand the same juice. And so then you're getting another one. You're like, shit, man, this smells exactly like something I already have. Hence the reason why I was disappointed with like Zakharov's signature rose. To me, it's very similar. It's different, but it's very similar to a $15 model of Frank Olivia. I think really I like both of them, but they're very similar. When you look at like the original Zakharov fragrance, and he sent me the original Pour Homme, and then the Royale, and then the Noir. I can't discern any difference between those. And if there is any difference, it is so slight. I would not recommend somebody spending another $300 to get the same juice. So other people have said differently though, but that's my assessment on those fragrances. And that's why, with YouTube, I use what other people have to say about it. What's it smell like? Is it going to smell like something I already have? Then I don't want it. So that's it. So anyway, guys, I like I said, this wasn't a video where a lot of questions and answers, but again, for anybody who's in the market for leather jacket, just know if I could help you guys in any way, whether it be to recommend something that I already have, or if you're looking on Amazon, you're like, gosh, I'm looking at this brand. What do you think? The one thing I would just caution folks on is that if you're going to buy a jacket on Amazon or eBay, just know when you start looking on there, a lot of guys do like use other people's pictures. So I like Amazon for the most part because Amazon just seems to be a little more trustworthy. I've had experiences with, like, for instance, buying a lambskin embossed ostrich jacket, right? The picture was amazing, right? When I actually got the jacket, it was nothing like the picture. Now I did get a refund on it, but be careful on the exotic stuff because a lot of sellers will list pictures of real, super expensive exotic leather jackets, and then they're sending you the embossed jacket, which is what you're buying, but they really need to put the picture of what the embossed jacket actually looks like because a lot of times it looks differently than the jacket they're advertising. Perfect example is the Stormbringer jacket by Pretender. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Pretender leathers, and not because they sent me two jackets for review. But the quality is exceptional, and the Stormbringer jacket is like one of the most unique jackets that I've personally ever owned or ever seen. The quality is unbelievable, thick buffalo skin. I mean, it is unbelievable for the price point. I mean, that jacket's unbelievable for $1,500. I mean, for like four, I mean, it's incredible. So it's a great jacket, but a lot of guys are using their pictures selling that jacket on Amazon and eBay using their exact pictures. And when you get the jacket, it's gonna be similar, but it's not gonna be the jacket. So just be careful with anything you buy. If I could help you guys in any way, or anybody, not just for my usual suspects here, but for anybody who's in the market and you want to, get my recommendation on something if you see you like. Let me know. I can recommend the brands that I have. I've reviewed most of my jackets. And I'll tell you that there's some really great stuff on Amazon, eBay, and you really only have to spend about $100 to $150 to get an incredible jacket. Don't listen to this nonsense by Alpha M. It's completely fake news. So thanks for watching, guys. Thank you if you've made it to this video, and I hope I've answered some of your questions. Again, email address in the description of every single video. I'm always here to lend a helping hand. I want you guys to have a great Thanksgiving. If I don't talk to anybody, or if I don't do another one of these live feeds between now and then, or you don't comment, and I don't, well, if you comment, I will respond back. But anyway, happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy your time with your loved ones. If hopefully everybody's going through good times like that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day and take care of yourselves.